What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Canelo Alvarez versus a possible fight with Andre Ward. Okay. It is rumored now that since Canelo Alvarez has defeated Sergey Kovalev, that takes the limelight off of Andre Ward's two victories over Sergey Kovalev, which ended in controversy. Really, to me, one fight, but a lot of people would argue both fights ended in controversy. And according to this article that I read, you can't say that over Canelo's win against Sergey Kovalev. But, yes, you can, because I've already counterpunched that. However, we all know Ward's career best win was against Kovalev, I guess, and I'll explain later. That's the night that made Ward look great in the eyes of a lot of boxing fans. Now Ward's accomplishments is no longer spectacular as Canelo Alvarez KOs and did a better job with beating Kovalev. Now, but Virgil Hunter did say that if Andre Ward would come back to the sport, he would have a couple tune-up fights, beforehand. Ward would have to tough it out by fighting with Canelo without a tune-up if he wanted to get it. Canelo wouldn't likely wait a year for Ward to get a tune-up out of the way before fighting him. Besides, there isn't anyone that could be nearly good enough for Ward fight in a warm-up match that would prepare him for the talent like Canelo. Now, let me counterpunch this. This is by Will Aarons, and this is from Boxing News 24/7. And I can see this as a pro Canelo guy. First of all, the fight would be a massive fight. I think Andre Ward, I don't know what condition he's in. I imagine he doesn't look like he's in bad shape, but I imagine Canelo, if Canelo would want to lure Ward out of retirement, because Oscar De La Hoya, of course, mentioned this, right? If they were going to do that, I do agree with Will Aarons. He wouldn't, or should I say Virgil Hunter, they wouldn't want him to have a couple tune-ups. They would want him to come right in there with Canelo Alvarez. Now, Canelo Alvarez is known to have all the concessions due to the fact that he's the cash cow of boxing today, which makes it really unfair. And you question, how good are you really if you need these type of concessions that make a fighter not 100%? That was one of my worst things about Canelo. But for them to compare Canelo's performance against Kovalev, which a lot of people, including myself, think it was kind of shady, think it was a fixed fight or a dive, okay, you can't throw that out of the window. But just say he won fair and square. If Canelo Alvarez won fair and square, what that would mean to the sport is he has to factor in the fact that Kovalev fought Andre Ward when Kovalev was the baddest man on the planet. He was one of the most feared men. He was the true crusher. He was that guy that, oh man, he killed a guy in the ring. He is that guy that they said, Stevenson, Adonis Stevenson is running from. He was the guy that shut down Bernard Hopkins later in his life. He was that guy. The guy that fought Canelo Alvarez is nothing like the guy that fought Andre Ward. Okay, so you guys are trying to compare a performance from 3 fucking years ago. That's not cool, and it's not good enough. Because they picked Sergey. Either he took a dive or he was already past his prime, and him fighting a novice fighter or a beginning of a contender like Andre Yard, and Andre Yard gave him problems. What do you think Canelo Alvarez was going to do? Okay, then you implemented a rehydration clause. You think that's going to help him or hurt him? That's going to help Canelo, because Canelo is coming in the smaller fighter. You know what I'm saying? So those type of things were designed for Canelo to win. That's if it wasn't a dive. Andre Ward didn't have any of that. Andre Ward dealt with this strong, powerful 175-pound champion. You know, he took him head on. He was the boogeyman, people. He was that boogeyman of the division. No doubt about it. So for these guys to try to discredit a retired fighter, it's BS. You know? Now, if Andre Ward did have a couple tune-up fights and he was able to do the proper thing to get him prepared for Canelo Alvarez, sure, I would like to see that fight. But remember something. If Andre Ward was to fight Canelo Alvarez, I believe that fight would be another controversial decision like the Lara fight back here. Why? Because Andre Ward will test Canelo Alvarez. Andre Ward knows how to use the ring. He knows how to fight in spots. He knows how to move in spots. He will give Canelo Alvarez fits. You know, he will do exactly what Mayweather did and Lara did. He will give him problems. He will make him miss. He will make him pay. And at the end of the day, they will either say he was too small, which is BS because Kovalev is bigger than all of them. And Canelo fought a guy much bigger, a bigger, taller guy, Danny Jacobs, Julio Cesar Chavez, Rocky Fielding. These guys are all big guys. Okay, and Canelo is a short, 5'8" height guy. He's just bulky, he's short, he shows that he can move up. We don't really know too much about his power at that weight, honestly, because we don't really know if that was a legit win from Kovalev. Kovalev's chin might have been done because he was knocked out before, right? Alvarez knocked him out. He almost got knocked out by Yard. He was just probably ready to go. His chin wasn't worth a shit anymore. That might have been the case, but for Andre Ward to come back to the sport, they would have to offer him a lot of money. But then I think Andre Ward's comfortable. If he decides not to come back to this fight, I would understand. Because if you're outside looking in like a lot of us are, we can see the shit that goes on between Canelo and Golden Boy and all the other bullshit that protects him as a whole. So if he decides not to come back and take the fight, I'm all for that. If he believes that he can beat Canelo, I could think he can, but will it be on an even playing field? That's what you ask yourself about Canelo Alvarez and the things that protects him, the concessions, you know, the all of a sudden, the rehydration clause. That wasn't implemented when the Sergey Kovalev fight was first announced. Nobody knew shit until, up until the last minute. Nah. There is a rehydration clause. You can't get too big overnight. So they had to weigh twice, you know, the day before and then the morning before. You know, and Sergey looked starched. He didn't look big at all. He looked skinny, frail, like he was on some type of coke or something. Right? But anyway, that's my counterpunch on that, guys. You guys tell me what you think about a possible Canelo Alvarez. I'm sorry, a possible Andre Ward versus Canelo Alvarez fight. You guys tell me what you think. Please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace.